I bet with the fluctuations with Forex, I mean, we went as low as some people were predicting under 1,000 naira, yes. And then suddenly there was a reverse. It's approaching currently, it's currently approaching about 1,600 at the moment. But for an intending investor, security, guarantee, error margin, with these your permutations and calculations from the field to the back end and all that, how would you convince a potential investor?
Okay, so the best thing to always do as an investor is to have a portfolio mix. So you might currently be investing in stocks, but you should not just keep your money in the stock market. You can spread your risk. So commodity is an alternative investment instrument where people can also put their money in. Even within the commodity space, we also do portfolio mix. We try to ensure that we don't focus on one commodity at a time. We spread it across various commodities at different times so that at the end of the season, we can have an average return that would definitely cover all the possible costs and also still have good margin for the organization.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us and, of course, sharing with our viewers this vital information that would help them to make their decisions as to where to go for their next investment, and that certainly will be Assetium Capital Management Limited. Mr. Afia, thank you very much. Sure. Mr. Kunle, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, it's been a pleasure. So look out for our next video. Thank you for viewing. Hello, thanks for staying with us. This is the Assetium podcast series, and well, we talk money, most importantly how you get to make money. And as a continuation from our earlier conversation, we had to bring in two very beautiful ladies. They're not just beautiful, but they look like money. So let's get to meet Joy and Barrister Sheon. Ladies, good to have you join us.
Thank you.
Of course, Mr. Kunle is still here with us. We want to touch on two very important aspects of this conversation: issues bordering about fund mobilization and issues of compliance. When you want to make your decisions as to where to invest your money, the issue of security can never be underplayed. Of course, when it comes to the issue of fund mobilization, you also would want to put in some questions and ensure that you're dealing with the right team. So the ladies are here with us, but Joy, let's begin with you. You are the fisher of money. Your job is to go around and mobilize funds, most importantly, the right kind of funds. So please talk to us about that.
Okay, so my role is I'm the head investment and portfolio management.
Okay.
And primarily, as like you rightly said, is to go out there and mobilize funds. Now, funds from individuals and also institutions alike.
Okay.
We have the minimum to come on board. Our limit is, we don't have a limit. So, and we have our rates.
So there's no limit?
There's no limit,
okay.
Yes, please. So like I mentioned earlier, if I can have your minimum of 1B, that'll be a good one.
I'll think about it.
So yeah, we have our rates that guide an amount that comes on board. We have our, will I say, brackets. A certain amount to a certain amount attracts a rate of return.
Okay.
Of which it's also not like fixed, in the sense that we might tell you, if you're bringing X amount of money, we're offering you this rate for the period you're looking at, be it 3 months, be it 6 months, or 1 year. Now, you can also bring in, oh, this is what you're offering me, but I think it's less. We can negotiate and give you a better rate of return. But the thing is, from the day we sign up on the investment, you already know what's coming to you.
Okay.
Either you earn your returns at the end of the tenure of that instrument or that investment, or you can have your earnings way forward before it matures upfront. Thank you, that's the word.
No. If I make an investment,
yes, please.
I can get paid upfront.
Yes, please. Now the catch is
okay,
this.
that's not money doubling. That's it, right.
No, it's not.
That's not money doubling. So tell us how this works.
Now the catch is this. Let me just use figures. I'm not saying that's what we
You can work with my 1B.
Your 1 billion. Thank you. I like that. Let's use you're bringing on board 1 billion naira, for example, and I'm offering you 18% per annum. You're looking at a year, which is 365 days, and you now want to have the earnings beforehand. But instead of me giving you the 18%, I'll reduce it by 1 basis point. I'll offer you 17%. Because already it's discounted, being paid that upfront. Then at the end of the tenure, you have your principal intact back to you.
For some people, especially institutions, they always like the idea of 180 days. They keep it, and because they're institutions, they sometimes need to use the funds for other things. And in the event that they don't need to, then they roll it
They can
over.
extend.
Roll it
And
over,
then,
exactly.
so we have situations where people roll over their funds. We have situations where people take their funds and bring them back in later. Some in between their period, they also bring in some extra funds and say, can
Increase.
my
Yes.
my investment with you. So we have situations like that.
Okay.
And of course, when you're rolling over, we also come back to you rate-wise
Okay.
to let you know what the prevailing rate is in at that period.
Okay.
Either it's gone up or down, but you'll be advised.
Okay.
Yes,
And that's what you do.
of course.
Okay. One thing I can take away from this is that there's flexibility.
Yes, there is.
And the customer and investor would also be advised on some of these pointers to say, look, this is going up and this is going down, and that guidance is provided to
Yes.
ensure that the best deal is put on the table for your investor.
I also have some class of investors who will tell you, okay, you know what, I can't just wait till the end of the tenure. Most especially those going for the 365 days Mr. Kone just mentioned. Can't I have my earnings coming to me every month?
Okay.
Like a pension or like an additional salary or an additional, you
Income,
understand what I'm
sort
saying,
of.
income coming every month. So what you expected to have at the end of that tenure, we can actually divide that and start giving you earnings from it.
Why didn't
every
you
month.
say this? Why didn't you say this
You would
since?
have dropped your money earlier, right?
it's not too late.
That's why we're here, actually, to inform our viewers so they know that these options are available on the table for them. But there's a kind of money that you do not accept. For example, there's a kind of money that you will bring. Barrister Shen will say, no, Joy, return this kind of money. So let's talk about compliance now.
Okay, so basically, we're regulated by Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the apex regulator for those involved in asset management like we are in, basically investments in Nigeria. So one of my core functions here in Assetium is to ensure that when funds come in, we do what we call KYC, know your customer, basically. And we gather information, just basically to profile the customer, know who the customer is, what kind of business is into, what his sources of funds are. Right now the government is big on anti-money laundering and, chasing down those who are laundering funds. So we are mandated by the law to report such incidents. So if someone whose source of income is questionable, comes in and then, we interrogate and we find out that it's questionable, we are mandated by the law to report that incident to SEC, basically. So while we can take every...
Barrister Shen.
Yes,
So
please.
in a nutshell, you will not accept the money. You will not do the business.
Unfortunately, we cannot.
Unfortunately.
Because
You
we need
wish,
to. We wish you
but
could,
you-
but we are
Mandated
confined by
on
the
a
law. We
monthly-
must
on a
work.
weekly basis to
Yes,
report
weekly
this.
actually, yeah.
So every week, any funds that come into the organization that seem to be questionable
Yeah.
has to be reported
Has to be
on a weekly
reported.
basis. It's part of the mandate.
If your investor is watching right now, another question they would like to ask you in this regard is, how do these regulations also guarantee security for their investments?
Okay, so like I always tell people, SEC as an institutions and the rules and regulations that are, churned out by SEC on a continuous basis has its foundation in securing the investment of the investor. That's what the institution is about, because SEC is mandated to build a robust investment environment, within Nigeria. And so because we are bound by those obligations and filings, and let me also add that these filings are designed in such a way that we are giving out information on things that come in, on how we handle funds. That's the way those filings are regulated. And so when they start to notice, hanky-pankies, or they start to notice, issues with what we're filing, then they pick it up with us because we are, we're obligated to them. And so basically, for a fact that as you're bringing in your funds, we have a third eye looking at what we're doing and, to ensure that we're towing the line, basically.
Also, beyond that, we also have what we call the fidelity bond, which we are mandated by SEC to also take is an insurance that covers, like an insurance cover over the investments that are made within the organization.
So in case of eventuality?
In case of
Eventuality, yeah.
eventuality, so it's called a fidelity bond insurance. Yes.
Security.
So that also, it's also some form of security.
Okay, so before we round this conversation up, what is the next step after watching this video for a potential investor?
Yeah, well, I would say that the very next step, if I was a potential investor,
Assuming that I have my $1 billion now
yes, so the
in
first
the
thing
car.
I'd say you should do is to check us out.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Confirm the story, confirm with SEC, confirm
Okay.
everywhere. Then you can also check out the board. We have a very robust board that spans across retired public servants, professors, institutions, people within the financial services industry that have had various years of experience. Our board has almost 100 years of experience combined. Our team of management to close to 60 years of experience. So we've tried to pull a very robust team together to ensure that what we do and how we do it is the way it should be done. We say we are your bridge to value. So aside from the fact that we preserve your funds, we also add value at all times. So which speaks to what we do and how we do it. Essentially the ethics of the organization.
Okay.
So we have different products, we have different services to meet your investment
Investment needs.
And all our activities are Sharia compliant.
compliance also.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, I wish we could say it all in one particular conversation, but of course the conversations will continue. And as events develop, we will continue to update you, our potential investors and viewers, partners, friends, and well-wishers. All right, so look out for our next video. Thank you so much,
Thank
Joy.
you for
Thank
And
you.
Barrister Shenwell.
Thank you.
We'll catch up with you again. And you, thank you for watching.